Regular season is now in the past for all of us, but that is not going to stop me from making a late video on it.
Caught by Thielen, 50, 40, 30, and is loose!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Skull Network, and as I said in that first clip, we are going to be taking a little look at the entirety of the Vikings regular season, and we're also going to get into a little preview of the soon-to-come playoffs. Now, I think as any competent Viking fans know, we finished 13-3 this season, which is the second best record we've ever had in the franchise's career, right behind the 1998 season when we finished 15-1. That season still hurts. Now, as basically all of us know, the Vikings this season finished 13-3, which is the second best record in team history, right behind the 1998 Vikings that made it to the NFC Championship game. And I don't think anybody really thought that this was going to be possible probably around week 2 once Sam Bradford went down. They thought Case Keenum's going to come in, he's just going to, manage some games or whatever. And then with the loss of Dalvin Cook, those hopes went even farther down the drain. But look at us now. I hate to say this, but we did finish outside the top 10 in total offense. We finished at 11th, so you can barely even count it. And that's just based off of the total yards that your team gained this season. So, I mean, it's kind of an accurate way of measuring things, but there are certain stats where we excelled in better than other teams that are ahead of us, like points per game. There are some teams inside the top 10 that we did better than, but that is where we ended up. We ended up 11th, which makes a lot of sense. The offense had a lot of really good production this year, especially compared to last year, with the help of the newly revamped offensive line with guys like Pat Elflein, Riley Reiff, and Mike Remmers. Guys like that. It just made things so much easier for our run game, which helped in turn open up the passing game with play-action pass, allowing us to throw deep balls to Thielen and Diggs left and right. And it was just an overall good season for the offense, much better than last year. Special teams wasn't really anything that we weren't used to already. Marcus Sherrills is still one of the best punt returners in the league, and everybody knows that. And then we had Kai Forbath, who he was really good on field goals. That's kind of about all I can say about him. He missed, what, 5-6 extra points this season? That can really come back to bite you in the butt if you are not careful in the playoffs. So, our special teams was all right. It was nothing super special, though. And now it is time to talk about the Vikings defense. Easily the high point of the season. I have the stats right here for you. So, let me just read these off real quick, and let's see if this sounds like a pretty good defense at all. Red zone touchdown rate. 3rd in the league, 40%. Rushing yards per game allowed, 83.6, 2nd in the league. Passing yards per game allowed, 192.4, 2nd in the league. 3rd down conversion rate, 25.25. I will get to that in a second. And then total defense, 275.9 yards per game. That was number 1 in the NFL. I don't know if you know, there's 32 teams in the NFL. To be number 1 in anything, it's pretty damn hard. But like I said, I'm going to get back to that 3rd down defense right now. You don't simply go 13-3 from, having an okay defense and then a pretty good offense. If your defense is getting people off the field at a rate higher than any other team in the history of the NFL, you're going to be winning some games. Do you know how long the NFL's been around? And I know that 3rd down conversion has only been track since I think 1981. That's still 40 years almost of NFL defenses to compare to, and the Vikings are better than all of them in this category. That is why we won 13 games. It's why we were able to lose an MVP candidate, possibly, in Sam Bradford. And if you say he's not an MVP candidate, take a look back at week 1 and try to argue with me then. That's why we were able to lose guys like Dalvin Cook, who I'm pretty sure was leading the league in rushing when he got injured in week 4. That dude had a good chance probably of being rookie of the year, maybe even winning the rushing title if he played the entire season. But with our defense, even losing those 2 big pieces, your main 2 positions on your football team, that's why we won 13 games. But enough talking about the actual Vikings players. Let's get on to the coaches. I think this was also a very big part of our success this year. I mean, obviously, that's a big part of any team's success. I mean, if you look at the Patriots before Bill Belichick, you don't see a whole ton. But I'm very convinced that a guy like Mike Zimmer has one of the best defensive minds in the league. And every time I hear analysis on him from, you know, the expert guys up at ESPN, they're always talking about how his schemes are second to none. Nobody can actually really ever guess what he's doing. And that's great. That's a big reason why our defense was so dominant this season. And then moving on to Pat Shurmur, I'm very, very scared for this guy because I don't know if he's going to even be on the team next season. He is easily, if not the #1 guy, he's definitely in the top 3 in terms of guys who are probably going to get a head coaching position this upcoming offseason. But I hope he doesn't. The dude is an absolute genius. He tailored this offense to fit guys like Case Keenum and Adam Thielen to perfection. I don't know what the hell Norv Turner was doing last season, but I mean, praise God that he left in the middle of the season because he was not doing anything productive. But I actually heard that Pat Shurmur kept a decent amount of what Norv Turner was actually doing and kind of just put his own spin on it, which I'm completely fine with. I mean, as I said earlier, 11th total offense, that's not too bad compared to last season. So I hope we get to keep Pat Shurmur, but I don't know if it's going to happen. So that's kind of just my overview and my opinions on kind of each aspect of the team, or at least the main aspects. I know there are more coaches to talk about, but we don't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
But I'm going to get into the kind of the playoff picture right now for the NFC. For those of you that are a little confused, I was definitely confused when everything came out. I didn't know when the Vikings were going to play, so I didn't know when to take off work, and I kind of got screwed over a little bit, but I'm making it work. Alright, so here's the quick overview as far as who the Vikings are going to be able to play. So the Eagles are the #1 seed, and the Vikings are the #2. This means that the Eagles will play the lowest remaining seed after the wild card round, and the Vikings will face the highest remaining seed. So in the Los Angeles versus Atlanta game, if Atlanta wins that one, they go to Philadelphia, and we end up playing the winner of the Saints and the Panthers game. But if the Rams win the game against Atlanta, we play them. They come here. It's as easy as that. So there are 3 teams that we can end up facing. That's the Rams, the Panthers, and the Saints. If I had an ideal scenario, I would have the Falcons win, so they would go to Philadelphia. And it's not that I don't want to play the Rams, it's just that they're not the team that I want to face the most. I would have the Falcons win, and then I'd have the Panthers win as well. I just feel like we would have the best shot at beating them. I know we only gave up 7 points to the Rams earlier this season, but Todd Gurley since then is easily a front runner for the MVP running. So I'd rather not face that, but I don't think it would hurt us too much. Then I don't want to face the Saints. I know we beat them as well. I've noticed that I only want to play the team that we lost to, but there's reasons for that. As everybody knows, the Saints were not the same team in Week 1 as they were the rest of the season. Alvin Kamara didn't get going, Mark Ingram didn't get going, and their defense was absolute trash Week 1. Everybody knows that. So I would like to take the Panthers, just because Cam Newton has been just so up and down this year. He's one of the most inconsistent players in the league, in my opinion. And if you catch him on an off day, then it can be smooth sailing for you, definitely. Alrighty, there is the overview. There goes my mouse. And that's kind of my thoughts on what I would want in the playoffs. As always, I hope you guys did enjoy. Hope you learned something, got a little something out of it. Don't forget to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see every single one of you in the next one.
30, and it's